What do you get if you cross a half-assed creator with a random LFO and an auto-tune? A half-assed black and yellow bug warrior with an E4 addiction. Alright, that was shit, but it's been a while, I'm out of practice. To be exact, you get my lazy half-assed approach to using a random LFO to create melodies and the Roland E4 to pull it all into tune, like some kind of wild and chaotic, untrained AI music competition robot. So, if you're ready to get experimental with your music, stay tuned. Alright, let's start things off by introducing the star of the show, the Behringer Wasp. This analog synthesizer has a unique sound, and though it's not quite as rich as some other analogs that you get out of there, its versatile features and deceptively simple layout make it quite a fun toy to play with. And today we're going to be looking at the control oscillator section, looking particularly at the random setting on the LFO. It can be quite exciting for creating random and unexpected melodies that you can sample up and use at a later date. The random LFO, of course, creates unpredictable modulation signal, and when you apply that to pitch, you can use it as the basis for melodies. However, to make sure everything stays in tune, we're going to need a little bit of help, but we'll get to that later. So you start by flicking the hold switch and turning the sustain level up. Until you've got a tone. We want a nice clean signal with not too much dynamic change, because that's what we're going to add later on. So now we've got a nice clean tone. Select the random LFO and then gradually turn up the dial for the pitch. As that's turned up, you can start to hear the variation, and that's going to be the basis of the melody that we work through. We can change the speed at which the notes change by increasing the frequency. Now we've got a warbling, pitch changing sound, which will be the basis for our melody. However, as not everything is perfectly in tune, it sounds a bit more like some kind of crazy free jazz or atonal orchestral music. And what with me being a very simple half-assed hobby musician, that's a little bit beyond my pay grade, and I want to tame this just a little bit. As they say on TV, I like a nice tune. If this random warbling is going to fit within the context of a tune or some other music that you're going to make, we're going to have to make sure that it stays in key. And the secret to doing this is plugging the whole thing in through the Roland E4. Of course, the Roland E4 is designed as an vocal auto-tune. There's no reason why we can't use that auto-tuning to a badly out-of-tune synthesizer. The first thing that we're going to do is to plug in the low output of the Wasp into the microphone jack of the Roland E4. Now let's program the E4 to impose a specific key on our random warbling. The first thing we need to do is to set the tuning parameter to auto, and we do this by pressing the auto tune button and sliding the pitch slider to the middle. When it reads auto, we know we've got it in the right place. We also want it to tune to the pitch in quite a strong way. It doesn't matter how many artifacts we introduce because it's a synthesizer, it's an artificial sound anyway. So you press the auto pitch button again and slide the format control up until it reaches 100. The final step here is to make sure that you are imposing a specific key on the random warbling. And this is done by pressing the harmony button and sliding the pitch up and down. For us, because I'm a bit dumb and I only like to play the white notes because that's the easiest thing to do, I'm going to put this into the key of C. Okay, so that's the basic setup. Very, very simple, warbling, random melody. You will be able to record that and cut out some slices to get some interesting melodic ideas from them. However, we are not done yet. With a few minor tweaks, we can make the whole sound a little bit more interesting. First up, we can introduce some dynamic change by using the filter to change the tonal quality over the course of the melodic ramblings. Now, we don't want that change to follow the same course as the LFO. So we're going to use another feature of the Wasp, and that is the repeat section on the envelope control for the filter. Once that knob is turned down onto repeat, you can use the attack and the decay parameters to change the shape of the LFO that you've got. So if they're both very long, then you have a long triangle opening, and then if you shorten the decay, you can create a sawtooth on either side, and just playing around you can create that dynamic change. Open up the filter control knob, and then you can hear how that attack and the decay actually influence things. Of course, you can use the same trick with the VCA so that you can change the amplitude and snip off individual notes. This opens up a world of experimentation and creativity within your music production. And you don't have to stop there. You could use the E4 looper in order to generate different layers of sound, changing the frequency of the melodic patterns or changing the pitch that they are at. Remember, the key to this technique is experimentation. So don't be afraid to try other things out. You've got a reverb on the E4. There's also the scatter effects, which might introduce yet another interesting layer to the whole thing. And then if you play around with the format and the harmonies, you could create a whole new level of sounds. Remember, there are no rules really in this kind of chaos. It's just about having fun, pushing the boundaries and experimenting with the sounds that you create. And there you have it, folks. We've taken a babble of wobbly goodness and turned it into something which is almost musical by imposing a key with the Roland E4. Thanks for watching. I hope you feel inspired to do some half-assed experimentation with audio of your own. I'd love to hear about it if you want to tell me in the comments section. Don't forget to like and subscribe. And in the words of the Sirius Cybernetics Corporation, share and enjoy.